So I'm Jay, and I'm an environmental activist and entrepreneur. It's. I just want to thank Lung Care Foundation, Dr. Arvind Kumar. I came here to inspire, and I think with the energy in the room, I'm inspired. This is wonderful. Air pollution is personal to me. The reason it's personal to me is in October 2013. I was training for a marathon. Along with 31 friends, we signed up to run the classic marathon in Athens, in Greece, where it was created. And one evening, I started wheezing, and the next morning, I was in the hospital. I don't think I quite understood what my ailment was at the time. But I very quickly lost lung function. And not only did I lose lung function, my lungs were very obviously compromised. And it's interesting because it took me 11 months of treatment. I kept on visiting hospitals in Delhi, in Bangalore. I went to Singapore. And then 11 months later, in October 2014, I was on a camping trip where this diplomat parent was sitting outside her tent wearing a mask. And I started talking to her about why she was wearing a mask, because we were in relatively nice surroundings. We were away from any population or any industry. And then she started talking to me about air pollution. She started talking to me about PM 2.5, and it all sounded like voodoo to me. It sounded like problems of diplomats or expats and not real world problems. But when I started to talk to her about her symptoms, for me, it was like my moment of enlightenment. It was my moment of becoming aware. It was my moment of consciousness, and that's why my business is also called Nirvana Being, because it was my moment where I learnt about air pollution and I started to protect myself and my family. And not only that, I started spreading awareness, because awareness precedes change. What I love about what I've seen in the last 15-20 minutes is I've heard words like relevance, I've heard spark, I've heard positive change, and this is wonderful, because this is exactly what we want, and it has to start with the schools. 2 years ago, my son, who's now almost 13, he was 11, at the Sri Ram school, and he had an asthma attack, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And we nearly lost him. By the time he got to the hospital, he was out of breath, and they had to administer an epi into his heart to revive him. And this is what we're dealing with, and this is why this subject is so relevant today. So please, children are at the greatest risk, and sorry, I always get emotional. We always do with our own kids. So, this has been a very interesting journey. I'm going to share some facts and figures with you on, what air pollution is. I've been asked to do that. And please, anybody have any questions, let's make this interactive. I don't know how many of you have seen this. WHO, comes up with their survey results every year. The latest results that have come out are from 2016. And out of 4,300 cities surveyed around the world, the top 14 are in India. The interesting thing is that Delhi is consistently on this list, and we are the #1 mega city. But it's not just about Delhi. I think wherever we have population in India, it's interesting. Even Srinagar is on that list. Srinagar is number 10, and nobody would have imagined Srinagar to be on that list. And there are some factors at play. It's cold weather, it's a valley, they don't have access to clean fuel, so everybody is burning some kind of solid waste for fuel and heat. So we've got serious problems across our country. This is not just a Delhi problem. I want you to hold on to that number against Delhi, which is 143, which is the 365-day average of PM 2.5 in Delhi. Okay, so that is the average in Delhi across 365 days of PM 2.5. All right, the safe level is under 15. WHO safe level of PM 2.5 is under 15. So what is in this air? I think it's clearly we need to understand the problem before we start to fix it or create awareness about it. So the primary pollutant in Delhi's air, and one of the most dangerous ones is what we call PM 2.5. PM stands for particulate matter and 2.5 stands for the size. I think almost all of you are probably aware of this by now, right? No? Okay, I'll kind of delve into it a little deeper. So one strand of our hair is about 70 microns. So we're talking about particles in the air that are 1/30th the width of our hair. Okay, हमारे बाल का 1/30th साइज है ये PM 2.5 पार्टिकल. ओके, ये इनविजिबल है, हमें दिखता नहीं है, और ये मॉनिटर हमें बता रहा है कि इस कमरे में अभी PM 2.5 का लेवल 100 है. ओके, अब मैंने अभी आपको बताया कि सेफ लेवल 15 है. ओके, तो इस कमरे में अभी 650% हम सेफ लेवल से ऊपर हैं. ओके, this is alarming because we are sitting here, we are thinking ये तो बहुत अच्छा कमरा है, एक अच्छे कॉम्प्लेक्स में है, यहाँ हवा सेफ होगी, and this is the problem with air pollution. ये दिखता नहीं है, you cannot see it, you cannot smell it, it's extremely tricky, it's invisible. Okay, and that is why we need laser particle count machines. There are monitors that the government, Delhi Pollution Control Board and Central Pollution Control Board has installed, which allow us to see the invisible. So, and there are free apps that you can download on your phones to be aware as well. Okay, but so what causes PM 2.5? PM 2.5 is created as a direct result of combustion. Some fuel has to combust in order to create PM 2.5. So vehicular combustion है, हमारा waste जलता है. We have automobile, automobile is a big one. Waste is a big one. We have all the industrial emissions as well. आपने पढ़ा होगा that we are trying to shut down, at least during the winter months, our thermal power plants that work on generating energy from coal. There is also a movement to ban pet coke and furnace oil, which are also dirty fuels. So we are trying to get away from dirty fuels, which is one of the reasons that we also moved our public transportation in Delhi towards CNG. My personal opinion on CNG is that CNG actually creates emissions that are even smaller than PM 2.5. It's under PM1. So I still hold my verdict on that, whether CNG is a safe fuel or not, because PM1 is even going to be more harmful for our lungs than PM 2.5. It's a sharper knife, then it penetrates deeper. So CNG is also the overall emissions might be less, but the nature of the emissions are possibly more harmful for our lungs. We have volatile organic compounds in our indoor environment, even in our outdoor environment. If you can think of anything that smells, if a room has been painted recently, you can smell the off-gassing. That's clearly a volatile organic compound. Even when you go outdoors into a pine forest or a rose garden, that's why we say now that कोई अगर बीमार है अस्पताल में तो उनको फूल मत ले जाओ, because even that can that creates the smell of it creates volatile organic compounds which are harmful. Let's move forward. I don't want to spend too much time on this. So our industrial emissions and our vehicular emissions also produce a lot of nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. How much do people here know about diesel and petrol? Do people know the difference between diesel and petrol? Like what is a cleaner fuel? Petrol. Why is petrol a cleaner fuel? Like, can you get? Okay, so technically, the PM 2.5 emissions from one diesel vehicle are equal to the PM 2.5 emissions of 7 to 9 petrol vehicles. Okay. The nitrogen dioxide emissions of one diesel vehicle are equivalent to, this is data from Center of Science and Environment, about 25 to 65 petrol vehicles. So diesel is a dirty fuel. Okay, our government could not provide us with a reliable source of energy And so for vote bank politics, they subsidize diesel. So they subsidize the use of a dirty fuel. So all our generators, I think the entire global automobile industry has backed diesel engine technology just for India, just for our country, because our government, we have a large country, a large consumer base for automobiles, huge growth potential, and the entire diesel engine technology for consumer, vehicles has been, billions of dollars have gone in because of India. Okay, so we backed the wrong fuel. This is an interesting pollutant in our air. Does anybody know about ozone? I'm sure you've learned about this in your science class. Who can tell me about ozone? There's good ozone and there's bad ozone. I'm sure you guys are aware of the good ozone. It's in our stratosphere, right? It cuts the UV rays of the sun, right? Protects us. Now, at a ground level, because of the nitrogen dioxide emissions from our industrial plants and especially our cars, when there's bright sunlight, that nitrogen dioxide mixes with the sunlight to create ground level ozone. Okay, this is an extremely harmful pollutant. It decomposes lungs. So when people tell me that the worst air pollution in Delhi is in the months of November and December, I always again refute it. Because yes, our PM 2.5 is the highest in the months of November and December, but the PM 2.5 is so high that we lose our sunlight. जब grey हो जाता है, you have that smog where everything is grey and we lose our sunlight. Yes, PM 2.5 is very high, and extended exposure to PM 2.5 is extremely harmful for us. But a combination of high levels of PM 2.5 and ground level ozone together are directly linked to mortality. So I always advise people that the months of October and March, where you have a combination of sunlight and PM 2.5, is even more harmful. So quickly we're going to run through 11 facts. Okay, so our pollutants are evolving, just like our fuels are evolving. As our fuels continue to get smarter, our pollutants are getting even smarter as well. So we are going into more and more nano emissions. Sorry, I forgot to tell you why PM 2.5. Okay, why are we worried about PM 2.5? Because anything larger, any pollutant larger than 2.5 microns gets stuck in our upper respiratory tract. When we when we clear our throat, we're clearing anything over 2.5 microns. Anything smaller than 2.5 microns goes directly into our lungs, and it's a one-way street. So the most efficient vacuum cleaner in the world is inside us. With every breath, all of us are cleaning the air in this room. Okay, and this filter cannot be cleaned, it cannot be changed unless Dr. Saab can do a lung transplant. I'm not sure. We'll ask him when he comes back. But I'm not aware that we can do lung transplants safely. It's not been successful. So this filter can't be changed. Okay, I'm not sure if he's going to show you a visual of a lung in Delhi, but it's very scary. Has anybody seen the suit that sticks to a ceiling fan? Yeah, you want to say something? You've seen it. Okay, that's what's inside your lungs. That carbon, that suit that you see on a ceiling fan. And when we are active, when we are running, which is what I was doing, training for a marathon, this carbon, this soot goes, deeper into our alveoli. It goes into, our bloodstream, and from the bloodstream, it goes to every part of the body. Okay, and Dr. Saab is going to talk about the health effects soon. But our pollutants are evolving. Of course, I mentioned already, air pollution is invisible. Let's go to the next. So I asked you to hold on to that number of 143, right? Delhi's average PM 2.5 in 2016. So scientists say that an average of 22 micrograms per cubic meter over a length of time is equivalent to smoking 1 cigarette per day. So 143 average means that in Delhi, on average, all of us are smoking 6.5 cigarettes a day just by breathing. Okay. I think this is about 2,400 cigarettes in a year, just by breathing. All right, that's the kind of PM 2.5 in our air. A lot of people, you start to see this haze. I saw it even this morning. I could tell right when I left from Gurgaon that today is a bad air quality day because everything outside was looking hazy. And I'm not surprised when I turned on my monitor here to see a level of 97. And I'm sure the filtration systems in the air conditioning here are filtering at least 30-40% of it from coming in. So outdoors is probably between 150 and 200 right now. Okay. Don't ignore the signs. If you're seeing haze outside, you are the thought leaders. You are going to go back to your schools and your families and you're going to tell people what all this stuff is. We are so good at ignoring the signs. And in the months of October, when this starts to become smog, people start calling it fog. You cannot have fog when the temperature outside is 30 degrees. It's just not possible. The only time that we have fog is, is like late December. You just cannot have fog when the temperatures are 30 degrees. Okay, so a lot of people mistake the smog for fog or the haze for fog. And even this morning, it's about 32, 33 degrees. It is not fog. This is clearly air pollution. So our ability to smell this stuff. So when the paddy burning smoke first hits Delhi, we can all smell it. That morning off when we wake up or whatever, but we get desensitized to it very quickly. It's like entering a foul toilet. It hits you, and once you're inside for 10-15 seconds, your body just kind of desensitizes to it. I already mentioned, ozone, which is very harmful. So if you're near a major highway, and what's interesting is that we don't even have mobility on our roads. We are constantly either idling our engine or driving in first or second gear when emissions are 400% of what they would be if we were in third or fourth gear. So जब गाड़ी idle करती है या first gear में होती है तो आपके emissions भी 400 गुना होते हैं. Okay, let's go on. So I already spoke about this. The March and the October, according to me, are the worst months because we have a combination of PM 2.5 and ozone. Next. Another thing that's tricky is that indoor air pollution is actually 5 to 10 times worse than outdoor air pollution. So we think कि बाहरी गंध है, अंदर अच्छा है. जैसे मैं इस carpet पे खड़ा हुआ हूँ. And this carpet is actually a sink for PM 2.5. Okay, PM 2.5 को 6 घंटे से 2 से 3 दिन लग सकते हैं अगर वो suspended है रेस्ट होने में. और मैं जो इसमें बार-बार चल रहा हूँ, if I start jumping over here, you will see that this will rise to 200. If I just start jumping over here, all the PM 2.5 will rise, and you will see this jump to 200, the PM 2.5 level. So this is what's tricky about air pollution as well. Indoor is always worse than outdoor. आपके घरों में जो आपका रसोई है, जो हम तड़के लगाते हैं, oil-based particles हवा में जाते हैं. So you have to exhaust your kitchens really well or shut the door of your kitchens. We do all this jhadu and stuff where all the PM 2.5 that is rested, we raise it back into the air. So these are all things that I almost feel like we have to unlearn everything we know. Because we are so used to, waking up in the morning and opening our windows and we think, oh, morning air is fresh and it's clean and we must do some exercise in it. Schools are constantly doing their sports days in early December, which means children are practicing in the month of November, which is the worst time to do it. November, the PM 2.5 levels and October, are the worst. So we have to actually unlearn everything we know and start over. Okay, and we have to get scientific about it. It cannot be कि I think ऐसा है. This is a science and we have to go about things scientifically. So this is why it's important. We spend so much time filtering water and we only drink 2 to 3 liters of it in a day. We inhale 12,000 liters of air in a day. Okay, 14 kilograms. It's the largest raw material that enters our body. All right. So I've already mentioned this. There was a study that said, a combination of PM 2.5 and ozone is directly linked to mortality. This is why it's important for children. It lowers your performance and productivity. There are studies that have been done that say that children who grow up in high exposure to PM 2.5 don't do well academically and don't do well professionally as well. So this is a serious problem, and we need to do something at a macro level, at a micro level and at a macro level. Micro level to protect ourselves, and macro level to actually reverse air pollution. So after my son had that episode in Sri Ram school, I actually ended up moving him to the British school because the air is purified there, and we created an air pollution task force. And this is what I want to tell you. I know we've started down that path at the RD school as well, and now all of you have to go down that path in all of your schools. What is the role of an air pollution task force? The role of an air pollution task force is to work on reducing exposure of children. Okay, so I have done tests outside Modern School Barakhamba Road. Are you guys from Modern School Barakhamba Road? So I did tests outside your school during pickup and drop off because all the children, a lot of them are coming in diesel cars, and this happens in every school. Diesel is the choice of vehicle, transportation in our country. The drivers don't turn off the engine, and the children are walking between the cars to enter the schools. And I've measured PM levels of 800 to 1,000 at your school, and I'm sure it's the same across all the schools. So it's that's just one thing. I mean, I'll just talk quickly about what we've done. So the key objectives are increasing awareness. And it's not just increasing awareness amongst the children. Children are absolutely pure. The problem is the parents and the teachers. We are so good at giving theoretical gyan, and we are so bad at walking the talk. So, the teachers are very quick to tell children to wear a mask or tell them about air pollution, but I don't see faculty wearing masks, okay, even on really bad air days. So the teachers and the parents also have to walk the talk, because the children are watching us, okay. There has to be a scientific approach to minimizing exposure, so it cannot be an ad hoc approach, and this air pollution task force must include parents as well. It's not just the administration, it's just not the kids. There must be 2 to 3 parents also represented on the task force, okay. I've already told you health and safety of the children is paramount. Next. So the key initiatives that we took at the British school, and one model does not fit all. I'm just kind of giving you a case study of what we did at the British school. We installed a central air purification system at the school. That comes with challenges as well. When you install a central air purification system, that can take care of the particulates in the air. So we managed to reduce the PM 2.5, but the moment you have children in a closed room, the carbon dioxide levels, they rise, like how? And what happens is that if the carbon dioxide level is high, the child's just going to feel sleepy. Your brain's going to shut down. You're not going to be able to perform. You're not going to be able to pay attention. So, that's what I'm saying. I mean, one size does not fit all, one model does not fit all. I'm just sharing something, that we are working on at the British school. What we did very well is a system of flagging, okay. We wanted an absolute kind of mechanism, a dummy mechanism that even the security guards and, even the staff at the school could understand. So we have a system of flagging where we raise an amber flag when the air quality is moderate, which means it's business as usual, activities as usual, but exercise caution if you are sensitive. And then we have a red flag. We don't have a third color, so it's just 2 colors. Unfortunately, in Delhi, it's amber and it's red. When it's red flag means all activities are suspended, and you have to wear a mask, and you have to minimize your movement between classrooms, okay. We have a graded response action plan, which is the next slide, and we also upgraded the medical infrastructure in the school to respond to an asthma attack, to respond to a stroke. These are things that can happen due to air pollution. There was an incident of a child at the American school who passed away on the soccer pitch. He was playing soccer, had a stroke, and passed away. And these are horrible incidents, but I think if we don't deal with this problem, we're going to hear more and more. Anybody here from Step by Step school? So there was an incident of a 15-year-old who died in May from an asthma attack in Step by Step school. So we just don't want these kind of things happening in our schools. And I know the solutions are very simple in terms of just having being medically ready at the school level to prevent these kind of horrible things. So this is kind of our graded action plan at the British school. I mentioned Yellow Day. Outdoor physical activities take place, and that's the AQI. So up to an AQI of 249, which is approximately a PM level of 200, we allow things to happen regularly. On red is above 250, where restrictions, all outdoor activities are suspended and mask wearing becomes compulsory. The other things that we've done very effectively is launched an e-learning program. So, above an AQI of 350, even coming to school becomes optional. The child can stay at home and do e-learning, participate in an early e-learning program at home. Okay. Next. So this is what clean air looks like. I don't think I've seen a sky like that in Delhi in a long time. And this is what we need to bring back in our city and most of the urban cities in our country. Okay. With that, questions?
Are air purifiers really effective? Like they're being sold in the market and it has become a business, but are they really effective?
So air purifiers cut both ways. Firstly, I certainly don't recommend them for schools. Okay. For an air purifier to be effective, you have to shut the doors and windows. You can't put an air purifier in a classroom and shut the doors and windows with 30 plus kids in that room, because you're going to create a huge carbon dioxide problem. Okay, so certainly, I mean, in my bedroom, if I'm one person or two people, and if I'm doing that in a relatively large room, it's all right, because I'm reducing PM 2.5, and I can use some indoor plants and other things to kind of replenish the oxygen levels in the room. But in a classroom with 30 kids, I think you're doing more harm than good by putting an air purifier and shutting the doors and windows.